So, I just finished watching Netflix's new Japanese movie, A Family, which is actually called Yakuza in the Family in Japan. It's kind of a weird name change considering they didn't even change the name of the movie in the movie itself, but whatever. Overall, though, I thought the movie was actually kinda boring, but it did have some really cool cinematography, like the opening, some action scenes, and just in general, it was a really pretty movie to look at. Anyways, what's the movie about? It's actually set up into like 3 different sections based on years: 1999, 2005, and 2019. So, the movie opens up in 1999, where we presumably see a Yakuza member's bloodied body just floating there in the water, which actually looks really cool. Then we get introduced to our main character, Little Ken, or Kenji, whose Yakuza father just died, so naturally he hates the Yakuza, even though he has a small group of his own, of just like 2 friends. Ken is riding around on his moped with his 2 friends, and he sees a drug deal going down. So he beats up the drug dealer, takes the drugs, and speeds off with his friends. The drug dealer chases after him, but as soon as the drug dealer speeds off, it cuts to night at the dock. It's not like I wanted to see like a really cool chase scene or anything. So Ken takes the money out of the bag that he stole and throws the drugs in the water, and then the crew decides, hey, let's go to the barbecue place that they frequently all go to. I kind of like the chemistry everyone has at the place because it makes everyone feel like a part of the one big family. There's even a crying kid on the owner's back. The group sits down and begins to eat when Yakuza members walk in and eat from the table across from them. There's a little bit of tension, but nothing really happens, but randomly a guy runs in with a katana and tries to kill the Yakuza boss. Everyone is freaking out, but Ken is just like not caring, and he's just trying to like finish his drink. And then he gets fed up with like the situation, takes a tray, and just knocks the guy out. And then he delivers like an amazing one-liner, and then he just like goes home. The next morning, the Yakuza advisor breaks into Ken's apartment and they go to the Yakuza headquarters for lunch. The boss wants to recruit Ken, but he declines because he hates drugs. The boss said they don't deal in drugs, but never actually say how they make money. And speaking of drugs, we actually never get shown or like told a reason why Ken hates drugs, he just does. So Ken leaves and then immediately gets chased down and kidnapped from the rival Yakuza gang, who he actually stole the drugs from. And you know what? That was actually a pretty fun like chase scene. So then it cuts to Ken and his friends just getting like tortured for like those drugs because drugs are expensive, and Ken's like, hey, we threw them in the ocean. And then the other guy's like, well, we may as well put you in the organ trade then. And after that, I just love how everyone is like freaking out. It's fantastic. So Ken and his friends get taken to the dock, and the Yakuza member is actually like searching Ken, and he actually finds a card from the rival Yakuza gang, and it's like, hey, are you with them? It's like, no, I'm not, I hate them. But he gets set free anyways because no one wants to start a gang war. So the Yakuza advisor picks up Ken and his friends, and Ken goes and sees the boss. The boss is like, hey, do you have anywheres to go? And Ken just starts like breaking down. Which, is fair, because he almost, like, died in a really horrific way. Getting, like, his organs harvested. Yeah, that would suck. So, naturally, after declining his invitation to join the Yakuza the first time, when he asked the second time, of course he joins the Yakuza. Which is actually followed by a really cool scene where they share, like, the cup. It's, like, so well shot and everything. But there's text on the screen, which I can't read because I don't read Japanese. And Netflix didn't even want to subtitle it, so I still have no idea what it says. So, cut to 2005, where Ken is just going to clubs as a higher-up Yakuza member, and the advisor becomes a lieutenant, and Ken gives him a really nice watch. Then he gets a call from someone about a disturbance at a Yakuza-owned club, so he goes and deals with it. So there's a guy from a rival group saying how Ken's group is like washed up, get out of the south, we'll give you like 20%, blah blah blah. So naturally Ken takes a bottle and just smashes it over the back of the guy's head. The guy leaves and Ken sits down with a few women who work there, and Ken takes a liking to one of them. So they all leave, but one of Ken's Yakuza brothers pays the hostess owner to give the money to the woman who Ken was sitting with. Later, she goes to Ken's apartment and Ken tries to have sex with her, but she's just not having any of it. You see, Ken thought she was like a call girl, but she just went there because her mama told her to. So she just leaves after that. You know, this actually kind of shows how, like, terrible Ken is with, like, relationships. He even tries some pickup lines that are so stupid and cringy. So later, the two Yakuza bosses meet about the bottle incident, and the boss tells the rival boss that you're pathetic, and if you act so tough, why don't you try and kill me? So, while riding in the car, to no one's surprise ever, there's someone in a motorcycle who tries to shoot and kill the boss in the boss's car, but he only manages to kill the driver and injure Ken. Shocker, hey, try to kill me. Well, okay then. May as well. So this pisses Ken off, so he grabs a gun, goes into a club, and tries to shoot the rival Yakuza boss, but Ken's Yakuza advisor actually pushes him out of the way and just stabs the boss repeatedly. So they both leave, and then Ken goes to the woman's apartment and just has like an emotional breakdown, and then they have like really sad sex. You know, when I have sex with someone new, I want my first time with them to just them be having just an emotional breakdown the entire time. That morning, she wakes up alone in her bed and finds just a stack of money on the table because she mentioned how she was working at the club just to pay for schooling. So Ken goes back to the headquarters, he gives the boss a hug, and then goes to prison for like 14 years. Cut to 2019 where Ken is getting out of prison, and suddenly the resolution of the movie completely changes for some odd reason. It's not even like 16:9, it's like 16:8, which is weird. Maybe 15:9. Yeah, 15:9, that sounds right, maybe, I don't know. The resolution's weird. So, he goes back to the headquarters to find that most of the Yakuza is gone, either from, like, quitting or getting arrested. There's, like, 6 guys left, and it kind of feels like a senior center. Most of them quit because the boss actually got diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, so clearly he's going to die in, like, the next 20 minutes of the movie. So, the Yakuza supply Ken with an apartment and a new phone, and slowly he's figuring out that everything around him has slowly, like, changed. The Yakuza's actually barely staying afloat, and what they're doing to make money is catching baby eels in the ocean, and the lieutenant is actually secretly selling drugs. So after Ken's all set up, he goes to the barbecue place where he catches up with an old Yakuza member and has lunch, but that quickly doesn't last long because he, like, wants to get out of here because he doesn't want to be seen with the Yakuza member, because apparently, after you've been in the Yakuza, you don't get treated like a human for, like, 5 years. Which is actually a really cool look into like how Japan cancels people. This is the most interesting part of this half of the movie, but it's also mixed with like long boring stretches that just nothing really happens. So after the ex-Yakuza member leaves the restaurant, the owner's son comes in and talks with Ken, who he hasn't seen since he was a kid, because, you know, he was in prison for like 14 years. Whenever the Yakuza were like at the barbecue joint, the kid would always call him, like, Uncle Ken, so they caught up, they talk about, like, how the kid's father died eventually, and what the kid's been up to. So, back in 2005, they actually told the kid, hey kid, don't grow up to become a Yakuza. So what did the kid do? He basically grew up and became a Yakuza in everything but the name. They also talk about how Ken's boss has cancer, and the kid's like, hey, you should probably go see, like, the boss before he dies. So Ken goes and sees the old man, and basically leaves the Yakuza. After, Ken eventually finds and meets up with a woman from the club who has a job at City Hall and has a 14-year-old daughter, which happens to be his. She gives him the money back from 14 years ago. Then it's like a will they, won't they type of relationship, but they do in the end get together for a bit. Ken also hangs out with some more old Yakuza members, and someone takes a picture of them all, and that gets like everyone associated with Ken like fired from their jobs. Ken's girlfriend at the time even loses her job at City Hall and her apartment living, which like really sucks, because why should you get fired just for like knowing someone? Anyways, the non-Yakuza kid is pumped up to actually kill the guy who killed his father because he recently found out who it was, but when he gets to the place, it turns out Ken already killed the guy with a baseball bat. So after Ken goes to the dock and he gets stabbed by his old Yakuza buddy, who was upset about losing like everything because Ken came back into his life. Ken falls in the water and the movie basically ends as it begins, just in a different aspect ratio. So, a family, or Yakuza and the family, which I still think is kind of boring, has some really cool moments and some really cool visuals. Anyways, I'm gonna place this movie on the B tier. It's not bad, but not terrible.